Motivation is exciting. It feels good. It's that surge of energy when you watch a powerful video, listen to a speech, or imagine the possibilities of your future. In that moment, it feels like nothing can stop you. But what happens the next morning when you're tired, stressed, or just not in the mood? The truth is, motivation doesn't last. It was never meant to. Motivation is like a spark. It can ignite the fire, but it cannot keep it burning. That's where discipline comes in. Discipline is the wood, the steady fuel that keeps the flame alive long after the initial spark has faded. The problem so many people face is that they think they need to feel motivated in order to act. They wait for the perfect mood, the right song, the right quote, or the right circumstance before they start, but life doesn't reward you for waiting. Life rewards consistent action. And that's why discipline is far more powerful than motivation. Motivation is emotional, it ebbs and flows. Discipline is intentional. It's the decision to keep showing up regardless of how you feel. Psychologically, this difference is everything. When you rely on motivation, you're at the mercy of your emotions. You give your power away to moods and moments. But when you rely on discipline, you take back control. You train your brain to follow through, not because it's easy, but because you've committed. Discipline creates a sense of identity. You start to see yourself as someone who follows through, someone who doesn't quit, someone who can be trusted to get things done. That shift in identity is where real confidence is born. Think about the people you admire most. Whether they're athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, or leaders, they all have one thing in common. They didn't wait for motivation. Do you think the best athletes in the world wake up every day excited to train, to push through pain, to sacrifice? No, but they've built the discipline to do it anyway. Do you think authors feel like writing every morning, staring at a blank page? No, but discipline drives them to sit down and put in the work. Success in every field belongs to the disciplined, not the motivated. Philosophically, discipline is one of the purest forms of freedom. At first, it feels like restriction. You're telling yourself no, you're creating rules. You're saying you'll do things even when you don't feel like it. But over time, discipline liberates you. It frees you from the chaos of inconsistency. It frees you from the roller coaster of highs and lows. It frees you from the guilt of knowing you could have done more but didn't. With discipline, you no longer wait for the right mood. You create the right results. And here's something important. Discipline doesn't have to mean giant, overwhelming actions. It's not about running a marathon every day or working 20 hours straight. Discipline is built in small, consistent choices. It's choosing to wake up when the alarm rings, not when you feel like it. It's choosing to work on your goals for an hour, even when you're tired. It's choosing to follow through on what you said you'd do, even when no one is watching. Over time, those small choices compound into massive results. What's powerful is that discipline also builds resilience. When motivation fades, most people quit, but the disciplined person keeps going. And in that process, they strengthen not just their results, but their character. They learn to trust themselves. They prove to themselves that they can handle discomfort, boredom, and even failure without breaking. And when you know you can rely on yourself like that, you become unstoppable. So if you're waiting to feel motivated before you take action, you're already losing time. The reality is motivation might get you started, but it won't carry you to the finish line. Discipline will. Discipline is the bridge between your goals and your reality. It is the difference between wishing and achieving, between dreaming and living. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You don't need to wait to feel inspired. You just need to decide. Decide that you'll show up whether you feel like it or not. Decide that your future is worth more than your fleeting moods. Decide that discipline, not motivation, will be the foundation you build your life on. And once you make that decision, your entire perspective shifts. You stop chasing feelings and start creating results. You stop hoping for change and start becoming the change. That's the power of discipline. So remember, this motivation might light the fire, but discipline keeps it burning. And if you want a life that truly transforms, you can't depend on sparks. You have to become the one who feeds the flame. Discipline is often misunderstood. People see it as this rigid, restrictive thing that boxes you in, like a set of chains you have to drag through life. But the truth is, discipline is the very thing that creates freedom. Without it, you're trapped by impulse, by distraction, by whatever feels easiest in the moment. With it, you unlock a sense of control, identity, and purpose that no amount of short-lived motivation could ever give you. Every time you follow through on a disciplined action, you're doing more than checking a box. You're shaping your identity. You're telling yourself, this is who I am. I am someone who keeps promises. I am someone who chooses growth over comfort. I am someone who demands more for myself. That identity gets reinforced over and over until it becomes second nature. And once you've built that kind of self-image, discipline doesn't feel like punishment anymore. It feels like alignment. You're not forcing yourself to be someone you're not. You're simply living in accordance with who you've decided to be. Psychologically, this is one of the most powerful transformations you can experience, because the truth is, most people struggle not because they lack potential, but because they don't trust themselves. They don't follow through. They break promises to themselves, and over time, that erodes their confidence. Discipline reverses that. Discipline rebuilds self-trust. When you consistently do what you said you would, you strengthen your belief in yourself. And that belief is the foundation of real confidence. You don't need hype. You don't need someone cheering you on. You carry within you the quiet certainty that you can count on yourself. And what about freedom? Isn't discipline supposed to take that away? That's the illusion most people live under. They think freedom is doing whatever you feel like whenever you feel like it. But that's not freedom. That's chaos. Real freedom comes from structure. If you're disciplined with your health, you have the freedom to live without constant sickness or fatigue. If you're disciplined with your finances, you have the freedom to make choices without being controlled by debt or desperation. If you're disciplined with your time, you have the freedom to be fully present with the people and projects that matter most. Discipline doesn't limit you. It expands what's possible for you, philosophically. This is the essence of self-mastery. For centuries, great thinkers have argued that the highest form of living is to govern yourself, to not be enslaved by impulses, addictions, or laziness. Discipline is what allows you to step into that mastery. It's not about controlling everything in the world around you. That's impossible. It's about controlling the one thing you always have power over. Yourself. And when you master yourself, you can meet the world with strength, clarity, and integrity. But let's make this practical. Discipline isn't about building a perfect routine where you never slip. It's about committing to a standard and showing up for it more often than not. It's about designing your environment so it supports your goals instead of sabotaging them. It's about setting clear boundaries and honoring them. And most importantly, it's about refusing to let your feelings dictate your future. Feelings are temporary. Discipline builds something permanent. What's beautiful is how this eventually reshapes not just your results, but your entire worldview. When you live with discipline, you start to see challenges differently. You stop looking for the easy way out and start embracing the hard things because you know they build you. You stop waiting for someone else to give you permission and start creating your own path. You stop doubting whether you can handle life's storms and start trusting that you have the strength to weather them. The disciplined life is not the easy life, but it is the meaningful life. And in the end, meaning is what we're all after. You don't want to look back years from now and see a string of abandoned goals, half-hearted attempts, and wasted potential. You want to look back and know you lived fully, that you demanded the best of yourself, that you became the person you were capable of becoming, and that doesn't happen by accident. It happens through discipline. So if you want to change your life forever, don't chase motivation. Motivation may come and go, but discipline is something you can build, something you can rely on, something that will shape not just your habits, but your very identity. Discipline is what creates true freedom. It's what allows you to step into a life that's bigger, bolder, and more authentic than the one you've been settling for. And the decision is yours. You can keep waiting for motivation to strike, or you can